Imagine walking along a beach and finding an animal with asterisk no brain, no blood, and no heart. Now imagine someone tears off one of its arms. Most animals would never recover. But this creature does something almost impossible. Instead of dying, it slowly begins growing a brand new body, and in some species, a single detached arm can even grow into an entirely new starfish. It's an ability so incredible that scientists have spent decades trying to understand how it works. But here's the strange part. Despite being one of the most famous sea creatures on Earth, almost everything people believe about starfish is wrong. They aren't actually fish, they don't swim like fish. And they survive using one of the strangest body designs in the entire animal kingdom. This is the unbelievable story of Asterisk the starfish that refuses to die. The animal we casually call a asterisk starfish isn't really a fish at all. Scientists now prefer the name asterisk sea star because unlike fish, it has no gills, no fins, and no backbone. Instead, sea stars belong to a completely different group of animals called echinoderms, which also includes sea urchins and sea cucumbers. Today, scientists have discovered asterisk more than 2,000 different species living in oceans around the world. From the freezing waters of Antarctica to warm tropical coral reefs, sea stars have successfully adapted to an astonishing variety of environments. Some species are smaller than a coin. Others can grow nearly asterisk 1 meter across. Although most sea stars have 5 arms, nature loves breaking its own rules. Some species grow asterisk 10, 20, or even 40 arms, making them look more like living fireworks than ordinary animals. Their colors are just as extraordinary: bright orange, deep blue, brilliant purple, fiery red, even patterns that seem almost painted by hand. These vibrant colors aren't just beautiful. For many species, they act as warning signals, telling predators that attacking them may not be worth the risk. But perhaps the strangest thing about sea stars isn't how they look, it's how they move. First glance, a sea star appears incredibly simple, but hidden beneath its rough skin is one of nature's most unusual engineering designs. Unlike humans, sea stars don't have bones. Instead, their bodies are supported by thousands of tiny calcium plates beneath the skin, creating a flexible natural armor that's both strong and lightweight. Even more surprising, they have asterisk no brain. There isn't a central organ controlling every movement. Instead, each arm contains its own complex network of nerves, all connected through a circular nerve ring in the center of the body. This allows every arm to work together almost like independent team members. If one arm senses food, the others immediately respond. If danger approaches from one side, the entire body reacts within seconds. But movement is where things become truly unbelievable. Sea stars don't use muscles to crawl across the ocean floor. Instead, they rely on asterisk hundreds, even thousands, of tiny tube feet hidden beneath each arm. Each tube foot works like a miniature hydraulic system. The sea star pumps seawater through its body, creating pressure that extends and retracts these tiny feet one after another. Imagine walking with thousands of tiny suction cups instead of legs. That's exactly what a sea star does. These tube feet allow it to climb rocks, grip slippery surfaces, hold on to prey, and even resist powerful ocean waves. Slow, weak, not even close. Because those same tiny feet can generate enough force to pull open the shells of clams and mussels that seem completely impossible to open. And what happens next is one of the strangest feeding methods in the animal kingdom. Asterisk the predator may look peaceful, but make no mistake, they are hunters. When a sea star finds a clam or mussel, it doesn't smash the shell. Instead, it patiently pulls with hundreds of tube feet, sometimes for hours. Eventually, the shell opens by only a few millimeters.
For most predators, that tiny gap wouldn't be enough, but for a sea star, it's all. The sea star pushes its own stomach asterisk outside its body through its mouth and directly into the shell.
There, it begins digesting the prey while it's still inside its protective shell. Only after the soft tissues have dissolved does the sea star slowly pull its stomach back inside. It's one of the most bizarre feeding strategies found anywhere in nature, and while sea stars seem almost impossible to stop, their greatest ability is something even more extraordinary, an ability that has fascinated scientists for generations. Because losing an arm is only the beginning. Asterisk, the incredible power of regeneration. If you've ever seen a sea star missing one of its arms, you might think it barely escaped a predator. And you'd be right. Fish, crabs, sea otters, and even some birds often attack sea stars, tearing off one or more of their arms. But for most animals, losing a limb is a permanent injury. For a sea star, it's simply the beginning of a remarkable recovery. Within days, specialized cells rush to the damaged area. The wound seals itself, preventing infection and water loss. Then something extraordinary begins to happen. Tiny new tissues start forming. Week after week, month, the missing arm slowly grows back. Muscles, nerves, tube feet, even the tiny skeletal plates hidden beneath the skin. Everything is rebuilt piece by piece. Depending on the species, this process can take several months, or even more than a year. But for the sea star, patience is simply part of survival. And in certain species, the story becomes even stranger. If a single detached arm still contains part of the central disc, it doesn't just regrow the missing arms, it can regenerate an entirely new sea star. Imagine losing one arm and watching that arm become another version of yourself. Very few animals on Earth possess anything remotely similar. With an ability like this, you might wonder, asterisk, why don't sea stars take over the entire ocean? The answer is simple. Nature always creates balance. Sea stars have many predators. Large fish hunt them. Sea otters break them apart. Crabs feed on young sea stars. Certain sea snails specialize in eating them. Even other sea stars sometimes attack their own relatives. But predators aren't their biggest challenge anymore. Humans have unintentionally created far greater dangers. Pollution damages fragile marine ecosystems. Plastic waste covers the ocean floor. Climate change raises sea temperatures. Ocean acidification affects countless marine species. And perhaps the biggest threat of all, a mysterious disease known as asterisk sea star wasting syndrome. Beginning in 2013, millions of sea stars along the Pacific coast suddenly began dying. Scientists watched helplessly as healthy sea stars developed white lesions. Their bodies softened, Their arms twisted unnaturally. One by one, the arms literally fell apart. Within days, many sea stars completely disintegrated. Entire underwater ecosystems changed almost overnight. Even today, researchers are still studying exactly why this disease became so widespread. Although they move slowly, sea stars play a huge role in keeping ocean ecosystems healthy. Many species control populations of mussels, clams, and sea urchins. Without sea stars, these animals could multiply so quickly that they overwhelm entire reefs and rocky coastlines. In fact, marine biologists call some sea stars asterisk keystone species. That means their presence helps maintain the balance of an entire ecosystem. Remove them, and everything around them begins to change. One famous example comes from the Pacific Northwest. When sea star populations declined, mussels spread rapidly across rocks, leaving less space for dozens of other marine animals. The loss of just one predator affected hundreds of different species. It was a powerful reminder that even slow-moving creatures can shape an entire ocean. The sea star doesn't breathe like a fish. It doesn't think with a brain. It has no heart pumping blood through its body. And yet, it performs one of the greatest biological miracles ever discovered. It can rebuild what was lost, recover from injuries that would kill most animals, and in some cases, create an entirely new life from a single surviving arm. It isn't truly immortal. It can still be hunted, infected by disease, or destroyed by a changing environment. But its incredible ability to regenerate has made it one of nature's greatest survivors. Sometimes the strongest creatures aren't the fastest, or the biggest. They're the ones that refuse to give up. And hidden beneath the waves, the sea star continues, proving that lesson every single day. Asterisk, if you enjoyed this documentary, subscribe to Deep Ocean Explorer for more incredible stories from the ocean, because the next creature may be even more unbelievable than this one.